Georgia is again the center of national politics after a historic midterm election. One of the biggest races on the ballot is now heading for a runoff. It is official. As just moments ago, we can confirm all precincts have now reported their results. Let's take a look at those final numbers. Incumbent Democrat Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock and Republican challenger Herschel finish at 49% each. But Warnock finishes first with roughly 35,000 more votes. Under Georgia law, if no candidate receives that 50% plus one, it must go to a runoff. 11 Alive's Brittany Klein-Peter joins us now with more. Brittany, cue the next round of commercials. An incredible amount of money will now come pouring into Georgia for what will be an intense round two.
That is absolutely right, Cheryl. What we're going to see over the next 4 weeks is similar to what we have already seen. Like you said, a lot more political ads, a lot more political flyers in your mailboxes as these two candidates try to get voters to come out for them just one more time. But before we can get to the runoff, this general election needs to be certified. The state can then prepare for the runoff. If you haven't registered, though, it's unfortunately too late for you to do so before the runoff. Anyone who is already registered will be able to vote, and early voting will start next Monday, and you can start requesting an absentee ballot now, although they won't be sent out until after November 18th. 11 Alive's political expert Andre Gillespie says the runoff winner will ultimately come down to one key factor.
And so which side actually does the best job getting their people to turn out to vote again will be the one that wins. So I expect that all hands are going to be on deck. All eyes are going to be on Georgia more than likely, as we are still looking at a pretty evenly divided U.S. Senate.
As Dr. Gillespie just said, that evenly divided Senate, as of this moment, it sits 48-48. Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, the only states left at play here. So this is going to be huge. Brittany, one of the numbers in this Senate race that really stands out is that 81,000. That's the number of voters who chose the third party candidate, and the voters both sides really want to get to now.
That's exactly it. So those votes for Libertarian Chase Oliver might be what kept us from getting to this runoff point, but that's exactly what these two candidates are going to be trying to vie for in their runoff campaigns. And something Andre said to me, for voters to expect that there's going to be a lot of eyes on this runoff, and there's going to be a lot of high-profile politicians most likely in the Peach State over the next couple of weeks vying for their selected candidate. Cheryl?
All right, Georgians are used to this runoff deal, so the runoff is now on the calendar for December 6th. There are several other Senate races across the country still up in the air, not clear yet which political party, as we mentioned, will take control of Congress. We're going to have the latest on more of those key states and how that's breaking down in just a bit. But we want to take a deeper dive into Georgia's race, where specific counties fall. 11 Alive Savannah Levens has been watching those numbers. Savannah, interesting now that everything's in, how different counties fell along these party lines.
Yeah, Cheryl, you know, this is why we encourage people to vote, right? I mean, we're talking about a difference of about 35,000 votes. So we're talking runoff now. You can see a few different clusters of blue on this Georgia map here, with Warnock just kind of barely leading Walker right now. If we flip the map this way, you can see more of the breakdown. So the darker the color, the more people voted for that party. So if we kind of look at the metro right here, DeKalb, for instance, Warnock really taking the lead with 84% of the vote there. Similar story in Clayton County, 87% for Warnock. But if we zoom kind of out of the metro, you're seeing in counties like Pike, Walker really taking the lead there. And it's also interesting to compare to the 2020 presidential election. When we bop around to a lot of these counties, Warnock and Biden are pretty much exactly on par as far as the percentage of vote they got. Walker trailing a little bit behind Trump. Political pundits kind of attributing that to maybe some personal issues that have come up during Walker's campaign, his lack of experience and voter turnout. But certainly Walker did get enough to now go to a runoff, which we'll be watching closely, because we are talking, Cheryl, about the balance of power in the U.S. Senate now, and it may very well all come down to Georgia. So whereas runoffs don't tend to get a lot of turnout, this one very well might. Democrats and Republicans both expected to show up in droves, hoping to tip the scale for their party.